The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Across Africa, a new line is drawing, and Kenya has just spoken with a voice that echoes far beyond its borders. As reports and global outrage swirl around alleged capture of Venezuelan president by the United States, Kenyan leaders have issued a bold and unmistakable warning. What happens to Venezuela will never be allowed to happen on African soil, especially not in Kenya. Especially not in Kenya. From Nairobi, the message was clear. Kenyan officials declared that no foreign power, no matter how powerful, can land in Africa and seize an elected leader as if the continent were still under colonial rule. They stressed that the United States can no longer come to Kenya and capture President William Ruto. Not now, not ever. This was not just about defending one man or one nation. It was a clear declaration of Africans' dignity, sovereignty, and long-denied right to self-determination. For Pan-Africans, this moment marks something deeper. It signals an Africa that is no longer silent, no longer fearful, are no longer willing to accept the logic that some nations are sovereign while others are merely territories to be controlled. Kenya's response reflects a growing continental awakening, a refusal to let imperial habits be repackaged as law enforcement, democracy, or global security. And standing against the idea of foreign powers capturing president, Kenya is standing with Venezuela, with the global south, and with every African nation remembers the cause of external domination. This is Africa saying, our leaders will be judged by our people, on our land and under our laws and nowhere else.
Telling the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, come and plug out our president. Pick our president the way you have picked Maduro. Nobody, not the mightiest powers in this world, will have that capacity to do this against the will of Kenyans. Kenyans and the world must remember what happened many years back. In Mogadishu, when the Americans, with all their sophistication and might, wanted to take one General Farah, Muhammad Aidid. The one thing you can never try in the Horn of Africa is to try and do that. Americans learned their lesson, the international community learned its lesson, and not a single president of ours, not a single leader of our country will be plucked by anybody else. We don't care whether you're a superpower, and nobody will ever try. As long as we have Kenyans with the guts, and we have many of them who have the guts, including all of us who are here now addressing you today. Nobody is going to mess with us because they think we are a subhuman. No. If it has happened in other countries, if it has happened in Libya, it has happened in Iraq, it has happened in other places, I can assure you one thing, it will never happen in Kenya. And we are willing to shed every drop of blood of every citizen of this country. Anybody ambaye anawatafuta wazungu kwenda kwa lamba aende atafuta hapo kwingine. And we have the capacity to protect ourselves from any external threat, regardless of.
Hands off Venezuela.
Kenyans against imperialism.
Hands off Venezuela.
Africans against imperialism.
Free Nicolas Maduro.
Free Cecilia Flores.
From Kenya to Caracas, the global south is outrageous by the act of President Donald Trump kidnapping a sitting president of Venezuela, Comrade Nicolas Maduro, and his wife Cecilia Flores. We would like to articulate that the charges, the flawed charges after the kidnapping of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is only a cover-up to steal Venezuela's natural resources.
Hands off Venezuela.
Kenyans against imperialism.
Hands off Venezuela.
Kenyans
Against imperialism.
Free Nicolas Maduro.
Free Cecilia Flores.
Free Cecilia Flores.
Free Nicolas Maduro.
As members of Kongamano la Mapinduzi, Africans Rising, and Borderless Africa, we stand firm and unshaken in solidarity against imperialism and its criminal operations in Venezuela. We reject foreign domination, economic sabotage, and political coercion in all their forms. An injury to Venezuela is an injury to the global South.
We know that the United States will not stop at Venezuela because they did not start with Venezuela. The United States has a long history of coups and color revolutions. They did this in Haiti with Jean-Bertrand Aristide. They also carried out assassinations and coup attempts. They have been trying to assassinate Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, along with the rightful rulers and the rightful leaders in Niger and Mali. We demand that America keep its hands off of the rest of the world.
We know one thing for sure, that U.S.-led imperialism, U.S.-led Zionism, U.S.-led Western imperialism is the enemy of all the people of the global South, including all Africans. We know, as our comrade has just said, that this process didn't begin yesterday. Their genocidal acts when the Europeans came to the Western Hemisphere. We have to remember that the U.S. is a settler colony. We must just say at the end that Venezuela is our revolution. And we stand with you. And we stand with all the masses of the people in the global South fighting against imperialism. We're one.
Free, free Nicolas Maduro.
Free Cecilia Flores.
Free, free Nicolas Maduro.
Free Cecilia Flores.
To the youths of Africa, to the youths of the world, we, the revolutionary Gen Z movement here in Kenya, we are calling upon you to gather together with us on Wednesday, the 14th, 2026, to protest at the American Embassy in Gigiri, to protest against the U.S. imperialism from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Free Nicolas Maduro.
Free Cecilia Flores.
More than 13 anti-imperialist organizations will be there. So join us if you are able to.
As from where we are, let's stand in solidarity with all Africa countries against this kind of aggression.
This is a very powerful message that Kenyan leaders are sending to the whole world. And as Africans, we need to also rally behind these our leaders. And we have to also make sure we send a signal and a message to the world that we will not allow them to repackage democracy and foreign control in a way that will please them and not us in Africa. The time of colonial rule is over, and what happened in Venezuela is a repetition of colonization, no matter how much they try to package it in the modern form, so you and I wouldn't notice. We have to rise up and fight together. Let's condemn what happened in Venezuela, because this is how colonization began. And if all of us do not rise up now to kick against it, tomorrow might be our turn. And we can clearly see that there is nobody that will come to the aid of Africa if such a thing should happen here, like what happened in Nigeria some time back, just last year, 25th of December 2025, that a lot of Africans who still do not understand that that wasn't right and they were celebrating should know that this is pure colonization. The moment we allow foreign powers to come here in the name of trying to do something to save us, we should know we have sold our sovereignty and we have to fight for our dignity. Like one time, the president of Chad clearly stated that even if we don't have anything to offer to the world, if we don't have money to buy jets as gifts to other people, but we will always protect our dignity. We have dignity, and for that matter, as Africans, we should be fighting to protect the dignity of Africa. And this is the time that all African leaders must come together united, including all of us, the citizens. This is a trying moment for all of us to make sure we unite. Like what happened to Nicolas Maduro, his people sold him out. thinking they were doing Nicolas Maduro, but the consequences everybody in Venezuela, including their generations to come, will suffer this. Is the same thing that whenever we think we don't like a leader, and for that matter we are going to do something bad to the leader or sell the leader out, when the consequences come, it is you and I that will suffer. So before we think of any act of this sort, we need to always think about what will happen next. And this is the time that as Africans, we need to say no to colonization, no matter how it is rebranded and repackaged. We must all rise up, united, to fight for the sovereignty of Africa, rather than allowing ourselves to be used to please other people. Like they said, no matter how powerful the nation is, we will not allow that nation to come to Africa and recolonize us the second time. And this is the time African Union must stop talking but act, because this is the point that we need the African to be united than ever. Because when anything of this thing should happen in any country in Africa, it is affecting all of us in Africa, because it gives way to other nations to follow, and we must all rise against this trend. This is a modern packaging of slavery and colonization. Let us make other people to understand that nobody owns Africa. The land belongs to the African, and we alone have every right to determine what happens on our soil and what happens to our leader. Like one time, President Abdurrahmani Chiani said, the jurisdictions of these people, we are not part of it. So their laws, their rules and regulations should not affect Africa. Like sometimes when something happens to us or a leader does something, and you hear them saying they want to take that leader to whatever court that they have. If they have said these things for themselves, it doesn't apply to Africa. We need to fight for our dignity. We need to fight to protect ourselves. We need to showcase that truly the African is capable. We must let the world understand that the old Africa is gone. This is a new era, a new day for the African, and we are ready to fight for the total liberation of our continent. And we must take our own dignity, our own rules, our own laws. Anything that has to do with the African must be determined by the African and not any other person. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, East Africa, and in Kenya.